All right, so audit and assurance is, okay, I'm going to mute you. And if you have any question, you can just raise your hand. There's an option over there, or you can write anything in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, let's discuss the audit and assurance. Now, this audit and assurance, which is previously known as F8 and nowadays we call it as AA, is very, very important paper of the skills level. Because not only this is important for passing the exam, but this is also important for your practical career. Why is that? Because usually after completing our qualification, we usually go to the firm or we join an industry. And both in the firm and the industry, your knowledge of financial reporting and audit is being tested. So this paper is important for the exam, because obviously the first priority is to clear the exam. And the next thing is the practical life and the career as well. So the first priority is passing the exam, and the second is practical knowledge as well. Now, there are three things which are essential, which are required to pass this exam. If you ensure these three things, then I can say that there are significant chances of passing this paper in the first attempt. Now, the first thing is the accounting knowledge. This is the first thing that you should have. Now, why I am saying this accounting knowledge? Because audit means audit of financial statements, and financial statements are prepared according to the standards, accounting standards. So if being an auditor, you are not aware of the standard, how come you can audit the financial statements? Similar is the case in the exam. The examiner gives you the question which requires your accounting knowledge. For example, there's one area which is known as the risk assessment. There you're identifying the audit risk, the risk in the audit. Now, for example, let me give you a plain example so you can understand. For example, the entity has done some refurbishment. Now, this refurbishment is a mixture of the capital and revenue expenditure. Like they have done some maintenance, they have done some repairs, they have done some upgradation. So this is a mix of the capital and revenue expenditure. And we know that capital expenditure should be capitalized, revenue expenditure should be expensed out. This is the treatment. So there's a risk when you're auditing the financial statement. There is a risk. You should keep this thing in your mind that there is a risk that management may have capitalized the revenue expenditure in order to boost the assets and profits. But what if you are not aware of the treatment of the capital and revenue expenditure? Then obviously you will not be able to detect those errors and manipulations within the financial statements. Let me give you another example. The management has done some revaluation during the year. Some assets are revalued. Now we know the property, plant, and equipment. We know that the assets revalued should be brought to the market value. Any gain or loss, which is the difference between the carrying value and the market value, should be reported to the other comprehensive income. And the depreciation should be recorded based on the fair value now and the remaining useful life. Now, this is the accounting. So when you are auditing the financial statement and they have done the revaluation, if you know the treatment, then straight away you will go to the comprehensive income to see the gain and loss. Straight away you will see their depreciation schedule to see whether they have charged the depreciation on the previous carrying value or the revalued amounts. Similarly, you will see whether they have revalued all assets of the same class or whether they have done the cherry picking. But if you are not aware of this treatment, then you will not be able to audit the financial statement. So the first thing within the exam is the accounting knowledge. So you should know what is inventory, you should know what is the property, plant, and equipment, you should know how the liabilities are split between current and non-current, you should know what is provision, when the provision is recorded, when the contingent assets are disclosed, things like that. So the basics of the accounting. I'm talking about. I'm not talking that you should know each and every standard in detail, but I'm talking about the basics, because without that, you will not be able to pass this exam. The second thing is the common sense. Now, I'm not sure how you're going to take this point, but yes, this is required. Because when you are auditing the financial statements, it's not only about the financial statements. It's the complete process. It's a complete cycle which involves risk assessment, which involves assessment of the client internal control system, and then the audit procedure, the substantive procedures, then review and then report. So in the F8 exam, a lot of common sense is required. And that means the analytical ability, being intellectual, and not the students who always love cramming. F8 is not for them. There's a portion which you can cram, yes, the knowledge-based elements. There are terminologies which you can cram, but not the concepts. The concepts you need to grab rather than cram. You need to grab the concepts. So in the F8 exam, let me give an example. There is always a question on internal control. A system is given, either it's the sales system or the purchase system or the inventory system. And the examiner asks you to identify the deficiencies in the system, or sometimes the key controls or strength in the system. Now, I cannot explain you the systems being implemented worldwide. Maybe there's a different system in UAE, a different system in America, a different system in the UK and Canada. Their systems may be different. So there is no book which explains you the system, but there's a generally accepted guideline. Yes, the analytical skills, you're very right. So there's a generally accepted guideline. Generic systems you should know. And then, like for example, let's assume there's a company which sells the goods online. And when the customer places the order, they deliver the goods using a courier company, or for example, they have their own dispatch system, whatever. So there was a question in the exam in which there was a sales system, and it was written the orders are taken online and then the goods are dispatched to the customers. And when the goods are dispatched to the customer, no signatures are being taken from them on the delivery note. And the examiner asks, is this a weakness? So every person who has the common sense can guess that this is a weakness. Because if you're delivering the goods to the customers and you're not taking signatures from them on the delivery note, later they can claim that they have not received the goods. And again, you need to send them again. Similarly, there was a question in the exam on the payroll system that employees record their own attendance on the timesheets. Now, isn't it a common sense? Like, is this a weakness? Straight away, yes. If the employees are recording their attendance by themselves on the timesheets, they can record the fake timings, fake time in and time out. They can claim the money for the work they have not performed. So these type of questions, and these two examples which I've given you, I've not made it myself. These were the questions in the exam. So it depends on the common sense. You should know how the ideal system should look like, how this ideal system is all about. And then when the system is being given in the exam, you just see how it is different from the ideal system, or what unusual things they have right now in their system, and accordingly identifying the deficiencies. And then there's a question which asks you the strength as well, with key control. For example, employees mark their attendance using the clock cards, and that the clocking in and out process is being monitored. Now, this was written in the exam. So it is a strength because employees use clock card. So that means there's no chances of recording the attendance themselves. It is an automatic attendance. And then the clocking in and out process is monitored. So that means there's no way that they can clock for each other. For example, if I'm staying at home and I give you my card, okay, take my card and I'll be coming up later, just clock my attendance, because they're observing it. So there's no possibility of employees clocking in and out for each other. Got it? So this is what I meant by yes, it actually happens everywhere. So it's not about your country. It actually happens everywhere. So, the system is all about, the loopholes. So people find the loopholes and then they exploit it. So that is why in the audit, what we are doing is we are identifying, the systems, weaknesses and strengths. Okay, now the third thing. The third thing is now English. Why I am saying that? Because the first thing is the reading. You need to read the question. The exam is in English, right? So you need to read the question. There are students who, easily pick the topic and easily understand. But when there's a question, they do not get what the examiner is asking, or they do not understand the case study. They do not understand the context of it. So what if you know each and everything, and unfortunately you're not able to understand the question? Then obviously you won't be able to answer it correctly. So that means the first thing is the reading. The second thing is writing. Examiner is not going to pass you in the exam based on what you have in your mind. Examiner is going to pass you in the exam based on what you have written in the exam. So usually when I mark the assignments of the students, especially in audit, the answers are not up to mark. And when I say to them that this answer is not up to mark, what you were supposed to write over here, they explain me the correct thing in their local language. They're answering it correct, but that English they have written over there does not support what they actually meant. So the reading and the writing thing is very, very important. If you are not able to read the question, you won't be able to understand it correctly. If you're not able to write it, then the examiner will not be giving you any marks for what you have written over there. So how we can improve that? So improvement again can be done through reading the textbook. The more you read the textbook, the more you will be getting comfortable in understanding the questions and also answering it. So reading the book. Which book? Take the Kaplan book. Kaplan book is easier than the BPP. So take the Kaplan book. Read the textbook. The second thing, read the examiner answers. It will help you to understand the terminologies used by the examiner himself. Like for example, if I write in a particular way and you understand how I write, and then you write in a similar way, then I will never be able to, identify the mistakes in that, because you are writing in the same way as I write. So this means read the examiner answers. So reading the textbook and read the examiner answers. The third thing, read technical articles. There are different articles on every topic. I have written my as well. So you can read both the exam team's article. It is on the ACCA website. So examiner articles on the ACCA website. Just write ACCA FA technical articles, and the Google will take you there. And for my articles, obviously that will be part of the course. So you will be getting those as well. So these are the three essential things that you need to have in order to pass the FA exam. And if you are not able to do that, then F8 is a difficult subject. On average, the passing percentage is 30 to 40%. So you can understand that how much usually the student struggles in passing this exam. So this was the first, second, third. Now I'm coming towards the fourth one. But usually I expect the students of this generation must not have problem in that, and which is the typing speed. Because you will be appearing in the computer-based exam and it's all theory paper. And the 70 marks belongs to the constructed response question, because it is different from the F7. In F7, there are 60 marks for objective test case questions, section A and section B. Here you have 70 marks for the constructed response question and only 30 marks for the objectives. So what you have written, you can write without looking at the keyboard. That's a good thing to hear. So that means one problem is solved, and now you need to look at three things. And even the accounting knowledge, you have just given there far. So that means it will work for you. The common sense thing, obviously, we must have that. And English, if there's any weakness, you can cover through the things which I've already told you. So this is how you're going to take the F8 exam. And now if you have any question regarding F8, you can ask me. And regarding the, the topics and things, once you enroll, the first lecture is all about introduction to the paper. So this was just a few things regarding the F8 exam, and you can look at the lecture number 1. Yes, sure.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
First of all, thanks for your introduction. It's very, very useful for me, especially English reading and writing. I face this problem. Second thing, I just have a question. What about BPP? Is it useful or what do you think?
Both the Kaplan and the BPP is good, but BPP is lengthy. So usually the students who are taking the classes should read the Kaplan book because they are taking the classes as well. BPP is for the students who are usually doing the self study. So it's very detailed thing. There's no need to read the BPP book for you because you will be taking the classes. Kaplan is enough
Mhm.
because you should spend more time in uh, practicing the questions rather than reading the book.
Actually, my friends who passed this paper told me that I need to solve all MCQ of BPP. Is this right?
No,
Or
that is the kit. You can do both kits, but the
yeah,
Kaplan textbook should be the Kaplan. The exam kits you can do both.
okay, but is a priority for Kaplan?
And the textbook is for Kaplan, yes.
Yes, yes. Actually, sir, I will take it self-study because I'm facing many problems nowadays. I will depend on the textbook and exam kit to solve it.
So you will be doing the self study, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so you will not be taking classes.
And no, because I have some problem
No problem.
facing
No,
it.
no problem. So you can do the BPP textbook in that case.
So PPP will be useful for me in the case,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, see you
And
then. Take care.
okay, good luck.